So as you guys can see, we're both part of the scarf gang. So I'm going to be switching the gear a little bit, gang. And this, of course, obviously anyone can wear a scarf, but we both happen to be of African descent. And so I wanted to switch the question a little bit because I'm Nigerian American and you're Ugandan American. And mental health in the African community. Like, I think, and honestly, mental health in the Black community as a whole.
Right.
So this is going to be kind of a twofold question. Because I think that our community, we're so resilient. We've been through so much that we have learned how to seemingly deal with things by not dealing with it. And we just kind of keep going and keep pushing because that's what I believe, it's learned behavior. And we're at a point now that I think our generation, the millennials, are more progressive, and we're kind of seeing that we can kind of not have to deal with it all on our own. And so what would you say, I guess, I don't even want to say 3 steps, just the first step for the kind of the Black community to potentially kind of embrace mental health, and then the sub-layer, the African community, because that one is even more difficult.
So there are so many layers to it. It's really complex because I was just talking about this with somebody that, when originally, right, when we were all in Africa in our respective countries, there's a high level of structure and rituals and ceremonies and customs around how we do things. And I think that those who are living as close to the original way, I assume, I'm making this assumption, this theory, that they struggle the least, if that makes sense. Because that's how originally we designed our way of life to be. Now, with colonialism, with slavery, with racism and being displaced, so Black American people whose families were displaced, right, and have now generational trauma to deal with. If you were living the original way and you were undisturbed, you didn't have the same issues and factors that came into play. So for Black Americans, there's a whole history as to why people don't want to see professionals because of testing on people. Like, there's real legitimate reasons. So it's not,
we can't trust y'all.
There's legitimate reason as to why there's a hesitation there, because there's trauma there. There's a lack of trust. Absolutely understandable. That's why I'm an advocate for, people at least being able to have a variety of people to choose from and who they see, so that it's not that you only have to choose from these certain people that look like this or come from these particular backgrounds. Not that you have to see a therapist that is Black or Mexican or El Salvadorian or whatever, but that you should have the option. And so I would say, the first step would be taking inventory, if that makes sense. If you look at your life and you objective inventory can say, my life is not being affected by fill in the blank. Any, dysfunctional behavior, communication, trauma, or just, difficult life circumstances. If you can look at your life and say that, okay, you know what I mean? Like, you do keep the self-therapy, you could be doing good. But if your life is disturbed in some way, in your relationships, at work, personally, you're unhappy, chronically unhappy, you know what I mean? Not just like today, but like 5 years now, 10 years now, you know what I mean? Then how can you open yourself up to what might be helpful for you? That may not just be therapy. It could be all kinds of things. Dancing can be therapy. Writing can be therapy. Yoga can be therapy. So just the idea of opening yourself up, I think, to what is going to be most helpful for you to grow and evolve and find peace is kind of where I say that falls. Now, for specifically those from, African communities, more highly connected, I guess I would say, That is a whole nother story. So,
Our people.
they're very
Yeah.
set in certain ways.
Yeah.
I think that at the end of the day, your life is yours. So that's where it comes, because it's individual versus collective. Your life is yours to manage and look after. If you yourself realize that there is an issue there, and I was just on a call the other day, they said, why wouldn't I go take care of my mental, like I go take care of my body and go to the doctor when something isn't right. So there was a person, I was on a Zoom call talking about mental health, and they said that they were first generation, trying to explain to their African family, like, there's something that I realize is going on with me that I have yet to figure out how to manage on my own. I need support. And they're like, what? And she's like, trying to explain to them, like, this is me taking care of my mental and emotional body, right? Just like I take care of my physical body by going to the doctor if I have a fever. So it may be more result oriented. If they're completely closed off to the idea or the topic, you might need to do it on your own, or find outside support from your friends, or maybe there's one family member that you can rely on, or something like that. And then the results hopefully speak for themselves. So when they see that your mood is different, when they see that you are enjoying family gatherings more, that you are thriving at work, I feel like results really speak volumes. So you may have to make a decision and kind of prioritize yourself, get results, and the results will speak for themselves.
And I think that you're right. It is results when people just kind of see your aura change, your energy change. And whether it's because, like you said, it's self-therapy or other forms, or seeking out a little extra help, people will notice it eventually if you're doing it consistent with it. So